think we'll be heckled by a cat?
No.
I've been heckled by worse.
Yeah, it's, you know what, for me, it's humans, man.
Yeah.
Of all the species that are the worst hecklers, it's humans.
Man, we had one heckler not too long ago. She was a musician.
Oh my God.
And she performed comedy, so she should know better. And she heckled us, and we kept asking her to stop, and she kept doing it. And then she sent a message the next day. It's like, look, I was just like, I'm sorry, but aren't I helping you guys? Like, heckling is part of the thing, so you know, it's helping. I was like, no, it's like me stealing your wallet and being like, look, I'm just helping you be more, you know, aware of your items.
And more charitable.
Exactly.
Oh, and we're live on Facebook.
There we go. All right, I'm going to share it.
Welcome to Lockdown Clowns, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out tonight. Or don't. That's cool too. I have no way of telling because you're all in your respective homes. My name is Sam Thomas. I am your host tonight, broadcasting right now from beautiful Phnom Penh, Cambodia. We've got a heck of a lineup for you tonight. We've got comedians joining us from Penang, Malaysia, Hanoi, Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, but the cool kids still call it Saigon, and from Yangon, Myanmar. Isn't that? Did you know that they have comedy there? They do. Electricity, sometimes. Comedy, always. Always. So we'll be hearing from Vanessa Lim, if electricity permits. So that'll be fun. Get excited about that. I'm in a good mood tonight because things are starting to return to normal a little bit here in Phnom Penh. Our Olympic Stadium is open once again. So public service announcement to all our viewers joining us from Phnom Penh. Olympic Stadium is back open. For those of you wondering, no, we have never hosted the Olympics or even been slated to host the Olympics, but we have the stadium already, right? It's just a matter, whenever the committee decides that it's Phnom Penh's moment, we're ready to go. We will take the barbecue grill off of the Olympic cauldron and light the flame. No, it's just a great place to work out, man. I love exercising there because it's full of beautiful women. Not for me to look at them, but for the beautiful women to look at me, right? That kind of keeps me on task, right? I don't want them to see me walking, right? They'll think, oh, wow, look at this guy. He's got such stamina. Oh, no, he stopped. He's finishing his workout just as I'm beginning mine. How prescient, right? That's not a good sign of other performances that guy's gonna put in. So, no, I'm pretty sure that's why people go to the gym in the first place, right? I mean, there's the equipment, but I think more than that, it's so that you can work out in the presence of sexy bystanders and feel shamed at slacking off, right? It's the same reason I do so much of my joke writing at a cafe, because when I'm at a cafe, it's much harder for me to just give up on writing jokes and start masturbating. I didn't say impossible, I said much harder. I'm not proud. Much more difficult, right? When I'm in my own home, even if I decide against it, I still find a way to make it happen, right? I'm really good at seducing myself. If I were as good at seducing women as I am at seducing myself, I wouldn't need to masturbate. That's a story for another day. But Olympic Stadium is open again. That's what I'm here to tell you about. Olympic Stadium is open. It's great. Even if you don't want to work out there, it's a great place just to do people watching, right? I love that place for people watching. There's always these old ladies exercise dancing there. And there's this one song that cracks me up. There's this old 50 Cent B-side that some exercise dance instructor dug up and decided to use for his classes that goes, if you're sexy and you know it, clap your hands. And then it samples the sound of hands clapping. So there's just this massive crew of old women. The youngest one is 70 if she's a day, right? And all of them know, because of the clapping sound, that that's the part in the song where you're meant to clap your hands. So they are all indicating by way of applause that they are sexy and they do know it. I love it. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know, the confidence, the conviction with which they clap their hands. Very alluring. Yeah. Cool. Really glad that I extended my Tinder age range to include them. That's that's the thing, I'm on Tinder, and I told myself it was just so that I could, you know, mess around, write some material. My friend was having a bad date storytelling competition, and I was like, oh, well, what better expectations to have of Tinder than to have a bad date? Like, that's the most reasonable thing you could possibly expect from that app, right? But then at the back of my mind, I was like, damn, this is the perfect premise. If romantic comedies have taught me anything, this is how I'm gonna end up meeting my soulmate, right? Right? If you sign up with the intention of having a bad time, that means that I'm gonna find love. All I need to do is really lean into it, be really career driven and cynical about romance. And then this is gonna be the source of the conflict in the third act. That she'll be like, oh my God, you just did this for a bad date storytelling competition? I'll be like, no, baby, that was before. Anyway, so in my heart of hearts, that's what I'm going for, guys. So I'm like, yeah, it's just funny. It's just for silly, funny jokes. But I'm also like, what if my soulmate is 31 kilometers away, right? I better set my bang radius to 31, right? And then I'm like, well, what if she goes to the market? I better make it 32 just to be safe, right? And then I thought, next thing you know, it's the maximum. It's 160 kilometers. It goes all the way over the border to Vietnam, actually. Yeah. So. Yeah. Got some comedians from Vietnam joining us here tonight. I have found it quite interesting, right? Because in Cambodia, Tinder is only for people, right? But in Vietnam, I keep coming across daisies and cats. I don't know what's going on over there. I came across one lady whose profile picture was just a plate of sushi. I super liked sushi. I was like, yeah, I'm into sushi, absolutely. And still waiting to hear back. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I've always loved sushi, and it has never occurred to me that sushi might not feel the same way about me. I didn't realize that those feelings weren't reciprocated. But it's an interesting strategy there. I love how this girl is like, oh yeah, if you're interested in sushi, you're gonna love me, right? If you're but if you're looking for a friend with benefits or a one-night stand or cooked fish, you better swipe left, because I am not that kind of girl.
So many.
Actually, I did match with a girl who's from Vietnam, and her profile picture was just a table laden with food, like a banquet. Actually, one of the dishes was cooked fish. So maybe Miss Sushi was onto something. Maybe there was a deep compatibility issue there. Maybe I am a cooked fish kind of guy when it comes to romance. I don't know what to tell you. But my opening line with her, because we matched, I said, "You look delicious." And well, I thought it was funny, but yeah, it didn't land with her either. So maybe I was just wrong about that. That's why. Sorry to subject you guys to that. Oh, we got Garu in the chat now. That's a good sign. Good to be here in my own home. Read some news this week that said that a lot of wine growers are wine market has collapsed. They're having to sell their excess product to distilleries to be made into hand sanitizer. And these winemakers are really upset about it. But on the bright side, for people who resort to drinking hand sanitizer, what a comforting thought to think this used to be wine, right? I mean, it's not the brightest of bright sides. I'm just striking too close to home with these comedians in here. Like, hey, Sam,
Too soon, man. Too soon.
why are you judging us? It's just like a poor man's Jello shot, Sam. What, are you too fancy to drink hand sanitizer? This used to be a nice Riesling, for your information. Yeah. Fair enough. I'm just glad to have these guys with us in the chat to do this show tonight, because I kind of put off organizing Lockdown Clowns until the last minute this week, which is I like to give people more notice when I'm making plans with them. I like to have notice. I have a thing about last minute plans, right? Where sometimes I want to say no just on principle. Like, I got one friend who'll say to me, like, oh, Sam, what are you doing tonight? And I'll be like, well, it's Friday night, so you know me. I'm going to sit on my balcony and eat Oreos alone. And he'll be like, oh, you want to play some board games? And I'm like, I just told you I have plans. You're not listening. What are you... Fully booked. Do you know how many Oreos I plan to eat? I'd rather not say, but there are many, right? Yeah. Not that I don't love board games. I do love me some board games. I got really into board games when I stopped drinking, because at the time I thought, oh, this will be a good way to have sort of a quiet night in. And I was wrong about that. That's not what happens when you play board games. No. What's cool about board games is that just because I stopped drinking doesn't mean that I had to stop getting in fights and shouting matches with my friends on Friday and Saturday nights over basically nothing. That's my message of hope for you. Right? It turns out you don't need alcohol or drugs to angrily leave a group chat at 3 a.m. for basically no reason. You can do that without the assistance of any chemicals. All you need is Settlers of Catan, Bejeweled, Exploding Kittens. You might get... You were worried. If you gave up drinking, you were worried you were never going to break a bottle over somebody's head ever again. Exploding Kittens is the game for you. Okay? That one. You'll actually get less sleep than if you just rolled face on Molly all weekend. Anyways, okay. Sometimes it gets I'm glad I get to tell. I'm glad I get to tell some jokes about this online, because it's tricky. It's tricky telling jokes about not drinking in Phnom Penh, of all places. This is a town where if you're not drinking on a Monday night, you'll be expected to explain why, right? Mm-hmm. All of our gigs are usually in bars, or literally we've done breweries and distilleries as well. So that's not a comfortable place to tell people you don't drink. They look at me like I just obeyed a traffic law. That's how. Right? They look at me like I'm sitting there with my left turn signal when there's a perfectly good gas station I could just cut through. Like, oh, Mr. Goody Two Shoes over here. Right? They look at me like I'm that guy who dabbed his pizza with a napkin so everyone can see how greasy it is. And they're like, ugh, maybe I should do that, but not because he made me, right? It's even harder, man. It's even harder explaining to Cambodian guys that I don't drink, right? That doesn't register with them. I remember a friend of mine, a neighbor of mine, was like, I was on my way to work. And he was like, oh, Sam, would you like a beer? And I said, oh, no, Pisette, I don't drink. And he was like, really? Well, then how do you hydrate? Right? Like, he wasn't even trying to make fun of me. He was like, so you just use an IV? And in the morning, how do you get your pick-me-up? Do you just take a tampon and put it in some coffee? And then, like, is that what you do to wake yourself? I had to be like, okay, yes, I drink fluids, just not alcohol, right? That was again, didn't really register. He was like, oh, okay, so no alcohol, but here's a beer, right? That should be fine. What's good though is that in Cambodia, they don't understand not drinking necessarily, but they do strongly believe that there are certain food combinations that can be lethal, right? So I have a chart in my kitchen of all the foods you must never eat together because they could cause you health problems. That's become my strategy for turning down drinks proffered by Khmer guys, right? I'll just be like, oh, wow, whiskey, I would love some. That would certainly help me wash down all that durian I ate earlier. They'll be like, ah, no, I just saved your life, right? They're like, oh, man, are you guys having wine? I would love that. I just ate some really salty parrot meat mixed with taro root. Really use some wine to wash that salty taste out of my mouth. By the way, I really enjoy not having rheumatoid arthritis. Like sometimes you have to jog their memory a little bit, depending on how long they've been drinking. Like, beer, are you having beer? Well, that's great, because I just ate all these frogs, and I'm about to go meet up with my girl, and if she smells frog on my breath, she's gonna be so mad that I didn't save any frog for her. Figured out how to game the system, guys. That's what you do if you want to turn down a drink in Cambodia. Cool, well, I have been quacking at you for 17 minutes. And I think it's time for us to bring up, oh, is he in here? Oh, there he is. All right. Let's now hear from our first comedian of the night. Can we have a round of applause to welcome all the way from Penang, Malaysia?
Woo!
Woo!
Well, that was so.
Garu Rumon.
Hello, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to do an emergency run to the veterinary clinic for my cat. That's why I'm in a car. So I'm sure you've all been in this situation. So anyway, thanks for having me on this show. I was always wondering how long it would be before I could do another show in Asia. Because, I don't know about y'all, but I've been very excited to be doing these shows elsewhere outside of Malaysia, and I guess for you outside of your own home countries. The thing is, I find I can't make so many local jokes anymore. Like, for example, I often make jokes about being a Bangladeshi, and then I find out people don't even know anything about Bangladesh. So I have to tell them, oh, Bangladesh is like India, except without any of the prestige or the potential. And so I don't mind people calling me Indian because Bangladesh used to be part of India. But the thing is, every now and then I have to draw the line. For example, I once went into an Indian restaurant and it had a page called Chinese food. And the first thing on this page called Chinese food was French fries. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to draw a line here. I am not Indian. I am Bangladeshi. So now I get to perform for other people all over the world. And let me say, I've watched Sam perform like 4 or 5 times now. I don't remember a single joke, that whole beautiful hair flowing as he performs. I don't know about you, but that's amazing. I've never seen that before. Like, I have to say, at my age, I know I'm going to be going bald because I've seen the men in my family. I know this is not going to end well. These days, I don't look at women's bodies anymore. I look at men's hair. When I see a man with a full head of hair, I'm thinking, I'd like to shove my face into that. And then it's even worse because I'm a Catholic. So when I see a guy with, like, let's say Sam's hairstyle, for example, the long Jesus locks hairstyle, for me, that's like a religious experience. When I see a guy with the Jesus locks, I'm thinking, I'd like to nail that to a cross. And that's what I'm thinking every time I see Sam performs. instead of actually paying attention to any of his jokes. So I have to say, I always wanted to perform with audiences all over the world, but then I noticed that like if I do a show for an American crowd, they don't always get the stuff that I'm making jokes about. So I thought maybe I should just do jokes in Asia. For example, this show is a Cambodian open mic. The thing is, have you noticed that all the open mics in Asia are run by Americans? Like I've seen the open mic in Vietnam, and I thought the Americans had pulled out of Vietnam years ago. Apparently not as thorough as I was led to believe. And then I saw the open mic in Thailand. Did you know that there are no Thai people in Thailand? Apparently everyone is from California. Now, you've probably met these kind of people. If any of you are from Southeast Asia, like I'm from Malaysia, some of you might be from Cambodia, you've probably seen those kind of people. You know, Jeff from Bangkok. He came to Southeast Asia to find himself. He wants to balance his chakras. And of course, the best place to do that is any country where drugs and prostitution are cheap. And so we get tourists like that in Malaysia as well. You know, these scruffy backpackers. All the men look like Laundry Lint came to life and put on skinny jeans. All the women look like they cover themselves in tattoos to hide the fact that they don't have personalities. And all of them look like their entire lives were sponsored by Chang beer. Now, if any of you are from Southeast Asia, you know what Chang beer is, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. And let me tell you, the tattoo thing is really annoying because I'm so tired of tourists coming here and treating our culture like it is a trinket that they can purchase and show off to their friends. You know, they tattoo their skin with languages and symbols they do not understand or have any connection to. Why don't you tattoo something from your own culture? Tattoo Shakespeare or something. Or if you're American, you can put McDonald's, I'm loving it. If you're American, you probably have enough space to put the whole lunch menu. On one side, you can put the Declaration of Independence. So then, a few people, when I've done these online shows, they tell me, why don't you sound like a Bangladeshi? And the truth is, I used to live in Canada for 7 years before we moved to Malaysia. And a lot of people ask me, if your family was living in Canada, why would you move back to Asia? And the thing is, after living in Canada for so long, my father got fed up with the country. The weather is too cold. The food is too bland. The people even more so. He missed the local food, the local people, and above all, he missed being able to beat his children. Like, you see, child abuse might be illegal in some countries, but in Asia, it's joke material. Like, he could not wait to get started. As soon as we were on the plane over here and things were not going his way, he just began letting loose. Bam, bam, bam. I said, boss, stop that. I don't think you're allowed to do that to the flight attendants. And now, coming to Malaysia, it's an interesting experience as a Bangladeshi because when it's so diverse here in Malaysia. You know, there's so many different religions and cultures. In Canada, they only had 2 religions, Christianity and ice hockey. But here, they have all kinds of different things. And I know sometimes, you might have noticed in Malaysia or in Southeast Asia, having so many different cultures and religions, there are times when the different cultures can clash. But I like to remind Malaysians and Asians in general that no matter how bad things get, Asians are all united in their hatred for Bangladeshis. And so, like, I don't know, before coming, in most places in the world, racism is a taboo, but here in Asia, racism is an icebreaker. You know, when you meet someone new, you can just talk about all the trouble that Indian bastard gave you. And so, like, before coming to Malaysia, I had never heard of such a product as whitening cream. If any of you living in this area, you'll know whitening cream is a thing. Like, being light-skinned is a sign of wealth and beauty. And I've been telling people, whitening cream is an enormous scam. There is no such thing as a cream that will turn your skin lighter. Do you think apartheid would have been less of a problem in South Africa if Nivea had a bigger presence there? So, anyway, I wanted to say, I make fun, like Sam, I know you're from America. I make fun of you because you're an easy target. Okay, like Americans are like large, slow-moving targets. So, but I wanted to say, no matter how much I make fun of you and your people and your culture and lack of it, you should still be proud of your country. Because America has done amazing things, and I know you will do amazing things in the future. But I ask the rest of the Americans who are still in that country, please do us all a favor. Don't come here. We do not want to catch the coronavirus. Anyway, that's my time. I'm on my way home from the vet. Hope to see you all another time.
Give a round of applause for Garu Rumon, ladies and gentlemen. That was fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I do think I have a request, and this is going to sound like I'm being overly sensitive, but can we please stop talking about how America is setting new records for coronavirus infections? Because that only encourages us. We love setting records, guys. We're setting records in coronavirus infections. That means we're beating China at their own game. You know how much we love doing that? We're like, oh my God, we haven't beat China at their own thing since Forrest Gump was playing ping pong, man. This feels awesome. It's dangerous. We just care about superlatives. We're like that bad kid in your class. We don't care. We don't differentiate between positive attention or negative attention. We just want people to look at us, right? We don't differentiate between fame and notoriety. That's just it's very dangerous for a country with so many guns lying around. Okay, that one's more true than funny. Fair enough. I do want to reassure everyone, right? In our culture, when we see a comedian in a car, we think, oh, that's an Uber driver. Don't worry, he's in the passenger seat. It's just that the driver's seat and the passenger seat are switched in Malaysia. So don't worry, he is not driving right now. He's just sitting in the front seat and doing comedy for us. Only place I'd ever used Grab was in Malaysia. And so it was kind of a cruel awakening when I got to the United States. Because not only do Uber drivers in the US expect you to sit in the back, but also the driver's seat is on the other side from what I was accustomed to. So basically the first Uber I got in the States, I went around and opened the driver's side door thinking that was where I was gonna ride. And they just thought I was trying some Grand Theft Auto shit. I learned that one the hard way. This is just another public service announcement for my friends who might not understand these types of things. Cool. Good. Well, now that I've completely destroyed whatever momentum Garu had going. Sorry, I was feeling good. I was like, yeah, why don't I try this new Uber joke? I've never told anyone. I just wrote it in my diary. Let's now welcome our next comedian of the evening, joining us all the way from Hanoi, Vietnam. It is Paul Villanova.
All right. You hear me? Awesome. Awesome. Hello, lockdown clowns. I look really tall. Yeah, so last lockdown we had here. Last lockdown we had in Vietnam, in Hanoi, in Vietnam. Last lockdown we had here, I learned a lot. I learned how many days I can go without wearing shoes. So that was 35. And we probably have another lockdown coming. So I'm aiming to break that because it's good to have goals. It's good to have goals. I also learned how to embrace the heat, like a Vietnamese man, and it's quite simple. You just, and there you go. That's all it is, really. Like, it's pretty simple. I also learned that if I work really, really hard at it, I can finish with the other hand. Yeah. I do them both. And next lockdown, I'm aiming for both hands. And the following lockdown, maybe the feet. I don't think I've got that sort of flexibility, but we'll see. I also learned here what the most powerful creature on Earth was during the lockdown. And we call them chiois in Vietnam. So it's the little old ladies as they're crossing the street. So just with one flick of the wrist, and they're able to like stop 4 lanes of traffic. Just walking across. It's quite a sight to see, and it's also really good because that's really the reason why Vietnam's coronavirus numbers were so low. Like none of that in here. It's we're heading towards a second wave now, and it's a shame they weren't patrolling the border. I was thinking, sex and coronavirus are a lot alike. You know, like men can get it from women, women can get it from men, men can get it with men, women get it with women. It's never cool with kids. It's old people can get it, and they could die, and it's much better with it's use protection, but it's the freedom and pleasure without is far better. It's far better. I created a game for myself during the lockdown, and it's called the care emoji game. So I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook, they released a care emoji, which is like a love heart getting a cuddle. And it was meant to make people feel better through the pressures of social distancing. Just the idea of it, like a love heart with a cuddle, it's just like not exactly social distancing. My game is that I like to put it on posts that didn't really need it, but they did need it. I see a post on Facebook, and it's Vietnam's coronavirus numbers are great. I'm sorry, Vietnam is one of the few countries in the world to avoid a recession. Care emoji. Vietnam is sorry. The bars are closing again because of coronavirus. Care emoji. I rewrote this. This doesn't make sense otherwise. Oh. There's a new discount on pizza. Care emoji. I thought that was good, but I think the next level is putting it on these where to get sites. So I see someone's advertising a Honda Wave, and I'm like, yeah, care emoji. Someone's advertising trying to sell some boxing equipment. I'm like, yeah, care emoji. And then my personal favorite, and it's one of my favorites because Hanoi is 250 kilometers or 150 miles inland, was that someone was selling scuba gear on Hanoi where to get. So I'm like, yeah, care emoji. Which is great. So I've been banned from Facebook Marketplace, which is actually true. It's actually true. Does anyone have, growing up, my parents were loving, they were caring, They supported me and my sister emotionally, financially, and we had a great childhood growing up. And it really sucks. Like, it really sucks because it means that there's no one else to blame. Yeah, so I always tried to rebel against my parents when I was younger, and I tried to do it but I was just really lame at it. So I remember they had terrible handwriting. My parents were both teachers, so they're like, "Oh, here, Paul, do this extra homework after school. You can improve your handwriting." So I would go home after school, do the homework, practice my handwriting, and then I would make like a real mental effort to purposefully forget everything they taught me. So yeah, now the 8-year-old Vietnamese kids that I teach have better handwriting than me. Yeah, shows you, mum and dad, fuck you. You know, I got a car, and I wrote off my car, but not in a cool way. I wrote off my car by not servicing it or maintaining anything, and the engine broke down. So yeah, I was like, fuck you, mum and dad. Showed them my awesome rebelling. And then my parents, they bought me a one-way ticket to Vietnam. And I was like, yeah, fuck you, mum and dad. And they were like, no, fuck you, Paul. And that was great. All right, my last bit here, visual. I'll put the mic down. Normally I fiddle with a mic stand around this point, and it really saps the momentum, so I just thought I'd reenact that bit. All right. These are things that are words. When people were speaking through coronavirus through the lockdown, they were saying things, and they weren't really true. So these are the real truths. What people were saying or thinking, yeah. Tiny visa regulations through this times is a great idea. It's good. It's going to keep everyone safe. I won't have any problem with it. Oh, wait. Can that be read? Hopefully. Okay, cool. I'll have no work for months. That's okay. I've saved money because I don't blow my money living here in Asia at all. Been getting along great with my housemate. We haven't had any problems at all. Oh yeah, my friends, they're gonna go home because they can't get any work here. That's great. I'm sure that'll be good. I'm sure it'll be good. Oh, they're going home to America, England, Brazil. If only there was some message that I could send to like make them feel better and help them overcome this, you know? Thank you very much, Clouds. Lockdown Clouds. Thank you very much. Back to you, host. Thank you.
People are going for Paulo Villanova, ladies and gentlemen. How much did you care emoji that set? That was oh, that was fantastic. Thank you. I think what makes it extra funny is that his housemate is our next comedian. So
2 for 1.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe we're walking into like a Weekend at Bernie's type of situation. Eric is going to be wearing sunglasses and be like, "Yeah, I just decided to sit down." For my entire set, this would be a perfect time to do it. You can put a mask on him too. Why am I helping you get away with murder? Because the reason why is because Claire can't join until 8:30. So even if if Erick is dead, we do need him to perform. Oh man, I don't know if you guys understand that these guys are joining us from Hanoi, which I've actually only performed there once, and I really loved it there. I did a joke about, I didn't think this one through. I did this joke that was about, some people think the future of combat is self-aware, sentient drones. And I was like, imagine what that would be like, right? There'd be drones taxiing around major metropolitan areas, begging for change, with signs saying things like, need help, can't tell the difference between an ISIS training center and an orphanage, or, we'll do unspeakable things for fuel, right? I was trying to make a statement about the way we treat our military veterans. Joke was ahead of its time, right? So what I thought was the ultimate punchline was, I was like, you'll be at a stoplight and a drone will taxi up to you and try to wash your windshield with its napalm hose. And then I realized I just said the word napalm in Hanoi, and they didn't laugh at that one. I think maybe that was like the 5th or 6th napalm joke they had heard that day. They're all out about that. So yeah, no, it was bad. It hurt. It was one of those sets that was so bad that I had to go and call my mom afterwards, right? Because there's no one in the world who thinks I'm funnier than my mom thinks I am. Like, and that's partly because usually when I call my mom, I am pretty stoned, right? Like, actually, at least at that time, she was actually more suspicious. The first time I called her sober, she was like, Sammy, are you all right? Why aren't you giggling or eating? She's like, Sammy, you haven't once asked me, what were we talking about again? I was like, yeah. We'll talk about this at Christmas, okay? Yeah, lifestyle changes. But yeah, so I explained to her what happened at the comedy show, and she said, oh, Sammy, are you telling me that you bombed in Hanoi? You're so much like your father.
Oh, God.
Sorry about that joke. I'm sorry about that joke. Not sorry enough to not tell it, but like, I'm sorry that I love it so much. Okay. Take-backable thing. Let's go to our next comedian. Joining us also from beautiful Hanoi, Vietnam. Please give some love to Erick Garcia, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, thank you, Sam. Thanks, Sam. You are eerily good. When you're getting called for stats, you were just writing down on the side of the camera. That's good. Thank you. At least we know you're necessary to murder now. You should feel pretty proud of. Good job to Paul. Good job to Garu. I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Holy shit, Garu gained a lot of weight and cut his hair. No, he did not. It's a whole different person. All right. Brown men wearing glasses. We are all one identity to a lot of people. It's like the movie Being John Malkovich, only nobody wants to be us. It's just yogis trying to find themselves are only lining up for that ride. Call back to you, Garu. Thank you for that. Erick, I'm not Bangladeshi, I'm Mexican, and I love Superman. Every time I wear this shirt, everyone tells me, oh my God, you look like Mexican Clark Kent, which I feel like you can just say, I look like Superman. I feel like Superman is the most Mexican superhero of them all. Just think about it, guys. He was an illegal alien. He came to America, right? Made it big and is stereotypically known for doing everything, right? Guys, super speed, right? Chill, laser eyes. You know how much welding that motherfucker can get done in an hour? That's a Mexican right there. So it's time. It's time to start giving us our due. But I am here in Hanoi. I've been living in Hanoi for 5 years, which, that's a long stint. I feel like living in Hanoi is a lot like the movie Jurassic Park, you know? When I first got to Hanoi, I was like the two archaeologists, right? I was just awestruck and dumbfounded and clearly breaking all the rules with disregard to any consequence, you know? Sarah, you can't go back there. I want to see what hatches from the egg. What? I have the TOEFL. I can do this. But I feel like after being here for 5 years, I'm no longer the archaeologist, and I'm more like Samuel Jackson's character, you know? Just like tired and over it, and I'm just tired of dealing with my white coworkers who complain about not making enough money. It's a good gig. But much like Samuel L. Jackson, I feel like I'm gonna die like him too, just a very violent death with only my arms surviving to make the trip back home. I like that joke. Some of you guys don't laugh. That's fine. Go home, watch Jurassic Park, think about this, and it'll be hilarious later on. I promise. Oh man, but I love living in Hanoi. One of the things that has happened in the 5 years of me being in Hanoi is there's been this huge explosion of Latin American food. And it's great, you know, and not really, actually, I'm going to be honest with you, because a lot of people always step by me and ask, oh my God, hey, you're Mexican? Where's the best Mexican food to go here? Where's the best Mexican food? And I always tell them, oh, you know, it's Anita's Cantina is the best Mexican food. No. And every time I tell them, like, I've been there. I just didn't like the rice or the beans or the burritos. It's like, I don't think you like Mexican food then. I just think you like having avocado needlessly spread over your fucking food. You know? But I know, like, I feel the hit because I feel like when you go to a restaurant, it should be an experience, right? You should feel something, right? Like if you go to a bistro, it's very austere, right? There's usually a dress code. Or if you go to an Italian restaurant, it's very dim and candle lighting, and Joe Pesci is sucking off Mark Scorsese somewhere off in the back. You know, it's authentic. You feel it. But every time I go to a Mexican restaurant here, I feel like I'm reading a script from Forrest fucking Gump. You know, I open up the menu and it's always like, "Welcome to Senor Tacos. Here we have corn tortillas, flour tortillas, fried tortillas, grilled tortillas. Sometimes we put meat on top of the tortilla. Sometimes we put meat and wrap it inside a tortilla. Lieutenant Dan tortillas." I'm actually not the most social person you know, because I feel like I've been raised as the youngest of 3 siblings, so I feel like everyone is just sneakily trying to insult me. Like the other day, a guy walked up to me and he said, "Hey man, you got a lumberjack body. That's cool. You're built like a lumberjack. It's awesome." Which I feel like he's just saying, "Hey man, you look like you drink a lot and don't eat vegetables. That's cool." Another lady walked up to me and she's like, "Oh my God, I just want you to know your voice is like deep and it sounds like you'd be a good blues singer. Like you should sing in the blues." Which I feel like is just her way of saying, "Oh my God, you sound really sad." Make a career out of that. But my favorite one I get all the time is, excuse me, I just have to tell you, you're so well spoken. That's awesome. You use proper pronouns well. Good for you. Which is just saying, hey, you look real fucking dumb. And I'm glad you're not fucking dumb. But every time I get that, every time a white person tells me I'm well spoken, I just look right back at them and say, hey, you hardly look inbred. That's awesome. Open your mouth. Let me count on your teeth. You got all 32 in there? Yep. That's good. But I don't know if you guys, I've also watched a lot of movies, and like I know there's like this big hullabaloo. You guys remember it a few years ago where they wanted to make James Bond black? Yeah, let me hear your
Yeah.
James Bond, Idris Elba, which is cool, and then they wanted to make him a woman, right? Yeah, they wanted to make James Bond a woman. That's awesome. And I like, for the first time in my life, I found myself in agreement with all of the internet trolls. I don't want James Bond to be black or a woman. Not because I don't want women or black people to have those roles. I just think James Bond is a piece of shit human being and I don't want him associated with minorities right now. Right?
Oh.
Can you imagine, like, if you make James Bond realistic, this is how it would look like, right? James Bond would be finishing up a cigarette. He looks at the girl and goes, I have very specific needs. What are they, Mr. Bond? Glad you asked. I'm actually legally obligated to tell you I have genital herpes. Oh, no, we have to wrap it up. She leaves. James Bond is finishing dinner with this chick, right? They finish up and she asks him, what would you like to do now, Mr. Bond? I have very specific needs. What are they, Mr. Bond? Glad you asked. I'm going to need you to cover this dinner for us because my alimony payments are fucking me up right now, son. Oh my God. Oh, I'm broke as shit. Oh. James Bond comes home from a nightclub with 3 chicks, takes them all to his penthouse, right? He tells them, sit on the couch. They all sit down. The girl in the middle pipes up, what would you like to do to us now, Mr. Bond? Glad you asked. So I've been in the spy game for about 50 years, taking orders from other people. Then I realized, James, why don't you become your own boss? And with NutriBroom, I can be. And with 3 easy payments of $3,000, you can be too. They all leave. I feel like the next movie should have James Bond running away from debt collectors and alimony payments, you know? But then I feel like at that point, maybe the world will be ready for a black James Bond, all right? Sorry, Keelah Rose. All right, guys, that's been my time. Thank you very much, Sam.
Keep it up going for Erick Garcia, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. So he was mentioned 5 years in Hanoi. I've been in Cambodia a long time too. I've been here since 2012. And the thing that I noticed is that if Eric and I lived in Seattle, right, nobody would be going, wow, you've been in Seattle for 8 years? Do you like it in Seattle? Are you married to a Seattle woman? Is that it? Does she need a visa or something, or what? Right? I bet you can make some Seattle food by now, right? Yeah. No. Thing is, with expats who've been in Cambodia for as long as I have, we have stopped asking each other, how long have you been here, right? The question instead is, how long were you supposed to be here? That's what, yeah. You get some wild answers. You'd be like, wow, well, I was supposed to be out here on a church mission trip for just 2 weeks, but then I found out that you can buy a pillowcase full of marijuana for a nickel, and rest is pretty much history. Yeah. Now, if you want to know how long I've been here, we could approximate it by the age of my son. He's driving now, so that would make him at least 9 years old. So we have no idea. We have no idea how long we've been here. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to do another joke because I'm trying to buy time for Claire to get in here. Yeah,
Well,
or we could just sort of. How weird would that be if she came in and we were all just silent and looking at her? Just everyone look into your camera. She's gonna be joining us from Myanmar. No, I did like what Eric said about, yeah, telling him he's well spoken. I have noticed that you meet white folks who you can track exactly what stereotypes they subscribe to by how they talk about their friends who are people of color, right? Like they'll be like, oh yeah, my friend Andrew, he's black, but he's really articulate. He's a really chilled out guy, totally safe to be around, right? And like, I got me wondering, like, I don't know if people of color have to do this about their white friends too, right? Like, I don't know if they'll be at a party with other black white people and be like, oh yeah, my friend Sam, he's white, but as far as I know, he's never systematically eradicated an entire ethnic group. Yeah, he's not one of those white people who goes around like killing brown people in order to steal their land. And actually, he's a pretty good dancer. Right? I don't know if they say that, but I guess I hope they do. I guess I hope that's what they're. Oh, okay. So that felt like another. Well, we're still waiting for Claire. I'm gonna do something wild here. Keelah Rose, do you feel like jumping on and doing a little impromptu set?
Keelah Rose.
I'm not really sure what I would talk about. I'm totally unprepared.
Okay. Well, do you want me to do a couple more jokes to get you ready?
You guys are super sweet, but I actually have to hop off and teach in a few minutes, so I can't do it.
Okay. I won't ask whether or not you're on the toilet because I don't want to alienate 80%
No,
of our viewers. If you're on the toilet, that's fine. That's our target demographic for lockdown.
I can do exactly one joke for you. It's a brand new joke.
Okay, great. All right, everybody. In an impromptu set from Keelah Rose Calloway, give her a round of applause to make her feel welcome.
It's a one joke set.
Oh, you're just gonna do audio.
No, hang on. It's a one joke set. I'll let you see my face so you can see how hard I worked on this one joke.
Okay, all right.
You guys know how this new Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion song came out? It's called WAP. This song actually impresses me because it's a bunch of 20-something girls singing about their wet-ass pussies. And I realized I'm pushing 40 and I'm waiting for someone to release a song called DAP that can be my anthem. Because dry-ass pussy deserves a song too, damn it. Piece is that I'm gonna hit these Corona clubs and I'm gonna party all by myself. But thanks for the opportunity for the joke. Bye now.
Love you, Keelah Rose.
Calloway, ladies and gentlemen. One more round of applause for Keelah Rose Calloway. Yeah, guys, that's the thing. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. We use the same codes every week, so you can use these again and again to log in, and you never know. Maybe we won't have. Maybe we'll just. Oh, yeah. I'm stopping myself. I'm wondering if this is going to encourage or discourage people from logging in the future. If you want to log in, just put a pseudonym, and I won't know you're a comedian and bother you for jokes. How's that sound?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good plan because I came to support my friends. If I had known you're gonna put me on the spot, Sam.
Thank you, Keelah Rose.
I'm sorry, but also I'm sorry.
I love you guys. Great sets, guys. Good luck.
Every date I go on. Well, are you guys ready to hear from our next comedian all the way from Yangon, Myanmar?
Oh shit!
All right, put your hands together for my friend yours. It's Claire Vanessa Lim.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
Damn, I literally just dialed in. Sorry. Yeah, I feel bad now because Keelah Rose had to do a joke because I was late. At least I have electricity. Okay, so yes, I do live in Myanmar. Yeah, I do. But I was actually born in the Philippines because I know everyone's wondering that. And my parents are Chinese. Even though I was born in the Philippines, actually, I knew almost immediately that I'm like 100% Chinese.
Yeah.
Because my parents are so cheap. My mom gave birth to me in a bathtub inside of a hospital just to save money. I forgot my hairbrush. Again, for those who were here last week, it's another cat brush because I don't brush my hair. Yeah. So my parents are so fucking cheap. It's insane. And these are not even jokes. These are just like pages of my diary. Like we never ran out of shampoo. Basically, what would happen is we would go through the shampoo, and as we systematically went down the shampoo bottle, they would systematically add water in to fill it back up to full and completion, and then shake it up like little cheap ass cocktail waitresses. And then we would just keep pouring this liquid into our hair. Their gauge for when the shampoo is out was never whether there was still shampoo left in this like water shampoo ratio in the bottle. It was when I got head lice. Oh, Rare has the rice in the hair again. We need to get a new bottle of shampoo. Months of just water and pain. And like ketchup, I didn't even realize that ketchup came in bottles. I thought they just came in sachets from McDonald's and Burger King. I thought that McDonald's and Burger King were ketchup producers in addition to being burger joints. For my whole life. And like, whenever we went shopping, when we go shopping, I'd be very excited. My mom and my dad would be like, oh, great, today we go shopping. You got good grade, we go shopping. And I was like, yay, we're going shopping. We go shopping in the roast and pound section of your school. Roast and pound section. Anything you find, you can take home. Just say it's yours. Just do not say it's not yours, it's yours. Take and go. And like the worst part was when we had to buy like train tickets for the subway. My dad would always like go to the front and be like, one senior citizen card, please. And I'd obviously go, Dad, you're not a senior citizen, you're like 50. And then he go, no, I'm not 50, I'm 60. One senior citizen card, please. And one disabled child. I'm not even joking. Throughout university, this card is like $2, right? And they needed to get that 20% discount to make their lives feel worthwhile. So I got a fucking handicap card and had to limp to the turn rail. I would be like, oh, every single time I took the train. When I'm late, I just have to limp fast. Like, it was not an easy childhood. Yeah, no, unfortunately, my parents stick off like all the cliches and stereotypes for Asian parents. Super cheap, super traditional. They're like very repressed. They had an arranged marriage, you know, to keep the wealth in the family, which I never saw. I never saw this wealth. Where is this wealth, Grant? They had an arranged marriage and they actually slept in separate beds. So they slept in separate beds their whole lives. Like I grew up to parents who had like 2 king-size beds in a room. And when I went to my friend's house and I was like 7 or 8, I was like, I got a tour of the house and then I saw that their parents had 1 bed. And I was like, oh my God, Gina, are you guys poor? Your parents are this is really sad. I don't know why, but if you need money, I'll give you some. My parents told me to believe in myself, which is confusing because they also told me to believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. A classic hallmark of Asian parents is to let your children fulfill the dreams that you weren't able to. So like my dad, my parents as immigrant workers, they basically, I don't even know or want to know what they did, but they couldn't be engineers or doctors or lawyers, you know? So they were like, I can't be an engineer, so you should study engineering, you know? Like these are all Asian parents. I couldn't be a doctor, so you should go to med school. My dad is exactly the same. Like he knew he wasn't going to be able to fulfill his dreams during this lifetime. And he's like 70 now. So it's like, oh no, it's really like you're closer to death than fulfilling your dreams. So I'm like, oh. So as like a good daughter, I wanted to help him make these dreams come true. You know, I want to be able to fulfill my father's dreams for him. So at least someone is able to. So I sucked it up. I gathered enough singles, drove myself to a strip club, and slept with 5 hookers. It was monumental for me and my dad. It was a very touching moment. Yeah. You're welcome, Dad. God, doctors, engineers. Oh, and don't even get me started with my mother. Like, yes, she was a tiger mom. I mean, that's not really a surprise. Every Asian mom is a tiger mom. Like, I don't know what happens with Asian women. Like, Asian women are pretty, you know, normal looking. Some even say attractive. But as soon as they cross the threshold from being Asian woman to Asian mother, their faces just turn into permanent looks of disappointment. It's like biology almost. Here, you got pregnant. Here's a pair of bigger tits, some breast milk magic, and the look in your face that you're never gonna be happy with your children. Like, kind of like just to make sure that your children never drop out of school. You're welcome. Like, it's weird. Once my mom and I went to like a fancy perfume store to hoard some free samples, obviously. So it's one of those stores where like you create your own perfume. It's like one of those like super hipster stores. You use the essence of the person who's going to wear it. You know, like you go. So basically, you go around the shop, and you're like looking around, and then you see like flowers and like oils and I don't know, fruits and vegetables. I don't remember, like whatever. And then you basically pick out the ingredients that will remind you of this person that you, and then you take it, you bottle it, you label it, and then you gift it. And it's a nice gift. You're like, these are the scents that remind me of you. 5 minutes into the store, my mother hands me a bottle that says wasted potential. It smelled like vodka, actually. Yeah. That got me thinking. Like, I guess that disappointment face that they have does guarantee that your kids won't drop out of school. But it also guarantees that your kids are going to be raging alcoholics. So, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Hey, beer. Cheers. Cheers, guys. And Gabriel's forehead.
Rest the beer on it. Let's go for Keelah, ladies and gentlemen. That is amazing. I feel like we learned a lot. Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like, man, I can relate to what Paul was saying about not having anyone to blame, right? Only in comedy do I feel jealous of other people for having a fucked up childhood. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, y'all had your trauma handed to you on a silver. All I got from my parents was unconditional love and affection and pride. No, I had to go out and get my own baggage. I had to pull myself down by my own bootstraps. Make all my own damn mistakes. Man, I had Caucasian parents. They're lovely. But like, we actually didn't believe in Santa Claus. They let us in on a little secret that Santa Claus didn't exist. But we knew that we weren't supposed to, that was not for general distribution, right? Like we knew that we weren't supposed to go around telling people Santa Claus didn't exist. It was really bizarre when like a teacher, an authority figure, someone I respected would be like, Sam, are you excited for Santa to come to your house? I'd be like, damn, Mrs. Tarr's parents still haven't told her about this shit? Like, wait, it was like believing in my first conspiracy theory, you guys. I remember going to the post office and seeing they had a special mailbox set up for children to send letters to Santa. I remember seeing that and being like, wow, the post office is a federal institution. This goes all the way to the top. I couldn't. Right, but I knew not to tell my classmates. I was like, they can't handle the truth. Don't tell them. You told them, it would only make them angry. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, this has already been such a fabulous edition of Lockdown Clowns, but it's about to get even more fabulous because we're going to top this off with a very talented gentleman who I have been lucky enough to gig with all around Southeast Asia. Please show some love for Mr. Gabriel Villalobos.
I can't begin to tell you what a privilege it is for you to have me here tonight. My name is Gabriel, and I am from Texas, but I try not to be. Actually, I know what you're thinking. I mean, you guys looked at me, and you thought I was Vietnamese, right? Be honest. You see, when I first got to Vietnam, I really stood out, you know, I stood out like a sore thumb. People could really make me from a distance, but I figured out how to blend in, you know, really go below the radar. But some days living in Vietnam is actually not that different from living in Texas. For example, I was out on my motorbike. I was stopped at a red light and a couple of cows walked up to me. You know? I don't want to be rude, so I was like, I don't know if you've ever seen a cow look confused before. What the hell kind of accent is that? I don't know. I can't tell what field he's from. But Texas is famous for a lot of things, for cowboys. We also are the home of NASA. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but we had some astronauts that were up in space recently during the pandemic, right? And a lot of people wouldn't think of them as essential workers, but I guess they are. And, you know, I saw him out there. This guy was outside of the space station, floating in space, and he was not bitching about having to wear a mask. And at 400 kilometers from the surface of the planet, he was taking social distancing very seriously. But, you know, before I moved out to Asia, I remember I stopped by my doctor's office just to see if I needed anything. And my doctor asked me very point blank. He said, do you plan to have any sexual contact with people in the local population? It's like, Doc, you know, why are you asking me this? Do you think they won't like me? I love living here in Saigon, though. It's an international city. I've got friends from all over the world. Now, I got a buddy, he's from Indonesia, and he asked me a weird question. He says, Gabriel, what does this mean? I was like, God damn, how do I explain sarcasm to somebody who doesn't have it at all in his culture? I said, Gata, you know, if somebody says this, they really mean something else. And he just kind of looks at me. I don't know if he understands what I'm saying, you know? But later on, he asked about a friend of ours. He says, hey, Gabriel, where's Tony tonight? I said, Tony's not coming. He's got tutoring. Tutoring. So I think, all right, he's got it, right? He understands it, but he just fucking runs with it. And pretty soon everything is this, you know? The next time I see him, he's got this beautiful young lady sitting next to him. He goes, Gabriel, come here. I want you to meet my wife. I'm like, hang on, wait a second. I was like, are you really his wife? She says, yes, I am. It's very nice to meet you. Oh man, I was in Korea before I came to Vietnam. And when my Korean girlfriend, the first time that I brought her to my house, she was very curious. She was looking everywhere, you know, looking at everything. And she poked her head in the bathroom. And she comes out and she goes, oh, in America, you don't wear slippers in the bathroom? And I was like, well, no, like they're set up differently. We don't need them. And she goes, okay. And then she looks at me really alarmed. And she goes, in America, do you wear shoes in the house? And I felt so dirty suddenly, you know, like filthy, like at the core of my being, you know, I had to come clean. I said, actually, yeah, we do wear shoes in the house. She goes, oh, I saw it in a movie one time. I said to myself, no, it can't be true. It's only a movie. You know, I don't know if it's just me, guys, but I think that nobody's really getting lost in the Bermuda Triangle anymore, right? Now, I can remember being young and I can remember thinking like, oh my God, this is going to be one of the great mysteries of the world. We're going to have to come together, the nations of the world, to solve this mystery, you know? And I can also remember thinking, oh yeah, one of the big problems that we were going to have was going to be that we can't have any more baby pandas. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Pandas wouldn't fucking have babies.
Yeah.
In fact, I was online and I saw this crazy headline. It said, electro ejaculation, daily vulva photographs, lab coats smothered with feces and urine. So I clicked on it. Turns out it was actually an article about the trouble that scientists were having to get pandas pregnant. And I was freaked out because I was like picturing poor little Ping strapped to a stainless steel table. They got electrodes connected to his little panda balls. They're showing him panda porn. They got a probe up his ass just for good measures. And they couldn't figure out why these pandas weren't having babies. I'm just looking at this thinking, I don't know, like I'm an armchair zoologist myself, but maybe these pandas just aren't as kinky as these scientists think they are. I mean, if it was me, you know, and you're trying to get me in the mood or work me up to it, you know, I don't know, you might start with something simple like rubbing my ears, massaging my paws, and very gently removing that probe from my rectum. Like, I ain't here to judge you guys, but this ain't for me. You guys are barking up the wrong bamboo tree. I love living out here in Southeast Asia, though. I mean, this is the most biodiverse region of the world, you know? So many animals living alongside us. And it's so like heartwarming to know that future generations are going to be able to see these animals living in their natural habitats, you know, on YouTube. Because some of these animals are just too delicious to survive. Oh man, I saw an article though. There was a couple of Australian pig farmers that got busted for smuggling Danish pig semen into the country. Yeah. And they did this because, well, it was going to be a lot more money for them. And you know, they were smuggling them in shampoo bottles. They got a couple of years in prison for this, you know. And all I can say is, they didn't find mine. My hair has never been so silky smooth. Man, I was online and I clicked on this other link, you know, and this dialogue box comes up and it says, "Are you sure you want to leave this page?" I was like, I thought I was, but now I'm being asked and I've lost all confidence, you know? Like, does my browser see something up ahead that's trying to protect me from? I'll never know. But you know, it's weird because the paranoia goes both ways, I think, you know? Like I remember I was trying to do something and I couldn't get anywhere. And I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I go forward? And there was this box that I had to check in. I had to check in. It says, "I am not a robot." So now it's like my machine is worried that I'm one of them. Creates an atmosphere of distrust, you know? And I mean, like, look, I'm like one of these people that I will cover up the camera on my laptop, right? Because I was paying attention when Edward Snowden was talking about how people can spy on you, watch you in your house when you think you're alone. And I just don't want for some random clip of me jerking off in front of the laptop for half an hour to come back around and bite me in the ass. Conversely, I don't want footage of me biting someone's ass to come back around, cause me to drop everything and jerk off in front of the laptop for half an hour. Oh man, but I feel so bad for folks in Hong Kong right now. They're just getting swallowed up by the Chinese machine. But you remember when the footage came out of the riots? Oh, that was so exciting. I can remember that I saw some footage of these protesters and they were all wearing masks and they all brought down together as a group. They brought down a facial recognition tower. And as it crashed to the ground, there was one guy who jumped on the camera array that was at the top, just stomping it with his foot. I was like, that is fucking badass, dude. That guy right there is hardcore. And I watched that clip again and again. And I paused it and I looked at it and I realized he was wearing a Princess Elsa backpack. And I was just frozen. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh man, like I know that it would fit really tight because that shit was small, but I feel like I could pull off blue and pink, you know? I mean, look, I don't think of myself as a real tough guy or anything shit like that, but I feel like I could pull off that "fuck you, evil empire Disney princess" look. Oh man, I spend too much time on social media. I'm just scrolling through that shit. Look, I have like 30 girls on my friends list, and they just post one sexy pic after another, you know? And sometimes I'm just going through these things, and I'm like, Grandma? And I get like, I don't like my initial response to it. You know, I get kind of angry because she knows that I like a little bit of hair down there, you know? No, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. Like, I'm not an overly controlling grandson or anything, you know? I want her to be free and do the things that she enjoys doing, but she has got to stop tagging me in this shit. I told her, I was like, Nana, you have to stop doing it, you know? And then she went totally silent. Like, she didn't post anything for weeks. And I thought, okay, I made her feel bad, you know? I made her, I shouldn't, she's self-conscious now. And so I talked to her. I was like, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And she goes, oh, no, I don't care about that. I've been busy. Busy? What the hell are you busy with? You live in a nursing home. She says, yeah, me and my friends here, we're making an app. We're building an app. Oh, fuck. Yeah, so apparently they're making an app together. It's called like Hot Granny Finder. I don't know what it does yet, but she is fucking excited about it. Oh man, my mom came to visit me here in Saigon, and when she came up, I got her a SIM card for her phone so she could message me, and I didn't save her name with her number. Anyway, long story short, I'm not proud of it, but I accidentally sent my mom a dick pic. You know, I felt bad, but she didn't make me feel bad about it. Like, she was actually pretty cool about it, you know? And she got it, and she was looking at it. She goes, Mijo, I didn't recognize you. You're so grown up, huh? I told that joke at a show the other week, and someone after the show asked me, dude, did you really send your mom a dick pic? I was like, no, but after she heard the joke, she asked for one. That reminds me, I was with this girl one time who she told me something. It was kind of weird. She says, Gabriel, you have a heavy set of balls. And I know now, looking back, she was trying to tell me like a compliment. You know, she was trying to say something nice to me, but it felt weird at the time because I was like, look, I know you can't see this by looking at them, but they're actually losing weight right now. They're cutting carbs. They may go paleo. Well, guys, it's finally happened. I got my first STD here in Vietnam.
Woo!
No, it's you know, I got strep throat. And I know, like, that's not normally considered an STD, but I did get it from someone who I had sex with. Basically, I just had sex with someone, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. I wanted some credit for that. Woo! And maybe it's time that I start wearing condoms. I mean, look, I should have a condom joke, huh? Actually, I do have a condom joke.
Hey.
But I never use it.
Hey.
Oh my God, I was talking to a friend of mine about my ex. I mentioned my ex-girlfriend, and he goes, oh, you mean the midget? I was like, why? I don't know why I had to say that. Like, I know she was petite, you know, but no, dude, because she was a midget. She was really a midget. And I was starting to think about it. And I was like, oh my God, I think he's right. And then I realized that I'm talking to another one on Tinder right now. And I was like, holy shit. Is this like my thing? How did I miss that, you know? Now, look, you got to understand, like, I hang out with comics, and I had to listen to the most depraved stories about, you know, double penetration, bukkake threesomes, and, you know, all this time I was like, you know, curled up in the corner, like, I don't know, I guess I like feet or something. but I started to swell up with a feeling of pride. Like I have a legit kink. As it turns out, I'm into Vietnamese midgets. Bring them to me. It's awesome, but I think that I'm not actually going to hook up with this one that I'm talking to right now. And it's not that I feel strange that she's a little person. It's just that she lives all the way across town. And that's like a long way for a normal sized Vietnamese girl. For her, it's kind of like asking Frodo to walk to Mordor, you know? It's too far. Oh, man. Do you guys remember when racism used to be fun? It was, you know, it used to be just like, me Chinese, me play joke. And now it's like, I will gun you down with my laser scope. Who invited these guys, man? Suck. I mean, a lot of it does seem to be connected to Trump. And this guy is losing his shit. Look, you got to understand how weird it's been for me to have to watch this shit unfold from over here. You know, I had to watch this guy get in front of God and everyone, talking shit about my people, Mexican immigrants, my parents, saying that they are bringing drugs into the country, they are bringing crime, they are rapists. And I listened to that, and I'm horrified because I didn't even know that about them. Oh, I'm serious. Like, if you ever met my parents, you wouldn't have a fucking clue. Not at all. And, you know, like, my dad still isn't fessing up to this. You know? I'm like, Dad, where are the drugs? What are you bringing into the country? He says, Mijo, no, that man is a liar. And for me, you know, I just feel like the healing can't really begin until he cuts me in. 20%, old man. You won't even feel that. I'm your son. Oh, man. But yeah, the worst thing is, like, he had to drag my mom into this shit. I love my mom so much. I'll tell you a true story about my mom. The day that I was born, she was in labor for 24 hours. I did not want to come out. I was like, I'm all good, yo, don't even trip. The doctor ended up having to wave a cheeseburger in front of her vagina. Come on, little guy, come on. And he finally got tired of it. He's like, all right, kid, you come out of there right now or I'm going to eat this cheeseburger myself. You have 10 seconds to decide. That became known as the Bourne Ultimatum. Oh, man, things are so weird back home, though. Jamie Baker is televangelist telling all of his followers that if Trump loses the election, a transgender is going to teach their son anal sex. I was like, slow down, cowboy. That sounds like a promise you can't keep. But really, who better to teach anal sex to my son? Someone who knows the ins and outs of it, you know? But I'm also like, wait a second, hang on a second. When did we suddenly switch away from priests? Isn't that their domain? And if a transgender is going to teach my son anal sex, Who's going to teach my daughter? That exclusion is misogyny at a fundamental level, you guys. It is. You know, it's so weird. It's so weird that Trump is connected to Jeffrey Epstein this way. I mean, all this kid fucking, man, it makes me think about actually Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I say that because there was a movie studio that approached him after he was governor of California, and they wanted to make a movie where he rescues a group of altar boys from a pedophile priest. And I can just imagine that climactic scene at the end where he busts open the church door like, kids, can't you see what he's trying to do? He's trying to fondle you. Get out! Get out! And you, why don't you try fondling somebody your own size? Fondle me. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. I'll be back. Thank you very much, guys.
Keep it love going for Gabriel Villalobos, ladies and gentlemen. I can say unequivocally that is the best impression I have ever seen of Arnold Schwarzenegger getting molested by a Catholic priest. So that was great. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We heard from, I think Garu is with his cat in the vet, but we heard from Garu Rumon. We can still clap for him in absentia. We heard from Paul Villanova and Erick Garcia. There they are, yes! Give them another round of applause. Oh man, I wish I were your housemate. Let's have another round of applause for while I find her video. Keep acting like you get along.
Great job.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Finish up if you have to come to Hanoi.
For your headliner, Gabriel Villalobos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotta make it out here, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I should, huh?
Sam.
Yeah, we should all meet up in person at some point. This is not chat roulette.
Right.
We totally should. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, let's not forget to have a quick round of applause for Keelah Rose Calloway for her impromptu set that I made her do.
Don't be
We
a
absolutely
stranger.
should. That's what I love about these online comedy shows. Comedians end up talking to each other like soldiers bleeding out in the trenches. Just like, man, we're gonna get out of this, man. You're gonna come to my city, and I'm gonna come visit you.
When we get back home,
Johnny, I
man.
promise you. I promise you.
Bubba.
We're gonna get through this, man. Does it look bad? No, you're gonna survive. You're gonna come to Hanoi, and you're gonna tell everybody there about your penis, and they're gonna love it.
It's getting
okay. Well, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna stop the live stream. I've been your host, Sam Thomas. I'll see you guys next Tuesday at 7:30. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
Sam. Thank you, Sam.
Sam, you're a rock star.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, Sam.
Yeah.
So you did that. Bye, guys.
Bye, Claire.